Welcome back to Becoming Limitless. Today I'm thrilled to have Letizia Silvestri. Did I say that correct?
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. With me here today, we're talking all about sound healing. She's a board-certified clinical hypnotherapist, and she's new to Dubai. I am thrilled to have her because she has a world of knowledge, and we just did a little bit of sound healing now, and it was amazing. And this is just some of her small setups, and I can't wait to discuss it a little bit more with her. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being here. So your background is very interesting because you didn't always do this, correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into this?
Absolutely. So I originally from Italy. I moved to Los Angeles in my early 20s, and I was in experiential marketing.
Oh, wow.
I used to produce and design luxury vans for automotive brands like Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin, all the most beautiful cars.
Right.
And I had a career that I absolutely loved. I used to live in Beverly Hills and, hit the red carpet, celebrities, a very glamorous life. And even though I was already conducting a super healthy lifestyle, I unfortunately experienced burnout multiple times throughout my career. Because of course, very long hours, very high masculine, very high pressure environment. And I turned into holistic modalities as I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease for the thyroid, right?
Of course.
And so I got into Chinese medicine. I got into, cupping, hypnotherapy, sound healing, meditation, breath work, a lot of modality to help me cope with it, right? Because it was a lot of fatigue, a lot of, gut issue, leaky gut problems, difficulty sleeping at night, and stress management was a big one.
Of course.
Right? But at that time, I was treating all these protocols as a list, as a checklist. So I was very like, okay, I need to do my red light. I need to do my coffee enema. I need to do this. I need to do that, right? It was, again, with a very forceful masculine approach, exactly as I was treating my career.
Right.
And then the pandemic hit. And I decided to rescue a dog that had a lot of issues because it was abused and neglected. And so, during COVID, there were no events to plan, no events to produce. And so I slowed down. And so I started to introduce Zen, my dog, to the gong and to the crystal balls that you see right here. And that daily practice, that presence that the instruments demand, allow me to slow down, allow me to connect with my breath, allow to go inward. And within a year, my dog is the sweetest pup, if you ever meet him. But I was completely able to...
So Zen is all better? The dog is all better?
Oh, he's the sweetest dog,
oh,
yes.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yes. He's actually a service dog now.
Oh, nice.
But that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that I realized with this journey is that I was able to completely heal myself. So when I went for my annual thyroid checkup, the doctor was like, we have to repeat the exam because there must be a mistake. Like, it doesn't look like it's normal. Like, it's cannot be possible.
Yeah.
I was told back then that it was one of those conditions that there's no cure, right? You just have to take a medication to manage the symptoms and for the rest of your life. So, so that was very inspiring for me. And that allowed me to really step into it with a different and more professional approach.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, the way you do it also, and you naturally kind of fit in this environment as if all your life you've been doing it. So it feels that way, which is great, as if it was dormant inside of you and then it manifested into this. And it's fascinating, the stuff that I hear when it comes to sound healing or breath work, combination, all of the above that go beyond science, it goes beyond traditional medicine and all of the benefit that is that. If nothing, I encourage everyone to at least feel the piece of it. Forget about miracles, just the piece of it, to slow down, to be able to hear and feel the vibrations and all of that. When we were doing like a little bit of this a little bit earlier, it was incredible to feel the vibrations and the way, the resonance of the sound, how it kind of transcends across your whole body. Even if it is for a minute, you feel that minute that you're no longer here. It's incredible. So if you haven't done it, you should definitely try it. Right now, you're based in Abu Dhabi, correct?
That's correct. Yes, I just moved here a couple of months ago.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. So you came recently to the UAE.
Yes.
How was that, by the way?
It has been a journey on its own. You know, I think I mentioned that to you before we started the show, that I had a strong longing to come to the Middle East since they actually opened Ferrari in Abu Dhabi.
All right.
Right. At that time, I really wanted to move here. It was a very irrational, like I didn't know why. And it didn't work out for some reason or another.
Right.
But then last year I had the opportunity to visit the Middle East. I went to Alula and I went to the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia. And then I came to Dubai earlier in January. And it was that moment where I was like, that's it, I'm moving. You know, I didn't have a plan, didn't have a business plan, didn't have friends, didn't have a place to stay. I literally went home to Los Angeles, and as I was landing, I saw the skyline for the last time, you know, the whole beautiful downtown, and I was like, wow, my chapter here is done. So I just moved here a few months ago. I have to say, I haven't missed Los Angeles at all. I feel at home here.
That's amazing.
Which is something that I wasn't expecting to be so immediate. I've been really appreciating the community here. I notice it's very easy to meet aligned people, and everyone, when they hear that you're new, everyone is willing to help, which is, it feels very warm and welcoming. Of course, there have been a couple of challenges, you know, different air quality, you know, especially right now that we're in summer, and, you know, sandstorms every other day, you know, water quality, you know, some air challenges.
Yes.
You know?
Every expat goes through these and then finds solution, and there are many of them.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. It's like after you start speaking to people, everyone has a suggestion or a recommendation, and I feel great. You know, I'm still settling in. I'm still in the process of unpacking and really getting to know the city. But as I said, for me, the energy of people, the energy of community, that family feeling, it's priceless. It's
amazing. And because we're all expats, the majority of our expats, we all know how you feel. It's a magical place for, you know, for reinventing yourself, for doing exciting stuff. There's so many opportunities, so we're fortunate. And I always say that this is part of the social determinants that contribute to your well-being, to your wellness. The fact that you are able to do things that are new, things that excite you, that the opportunities even exist. And the safety and all of that other stuff that the country offers. It's part of perhaps a crucial social determinants that directly contribute to your well-being. You either are aware of it or not, it doesn't matter. It's still contributing to your well-being, being in a place where, as I said, opportunities, things to do, people are nice, and so on. And you live on the beach, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's another perk, right?
You know,
being in Los Angeles and being close to the beach also. Welcome. We love having you here. And I can't wait to see more of what you do. Where can someone go and see some of the stuff that you do, by the way? I know that you are in Sage Villa.
Yes.
You do occasionally there, right? Where else can someone see or experience your bath?
People, can connect with me over, you know, of course, Instagram. The account is Alta Healing.
Okay.
I am still in the process of rolling out a program of upcoming sound baths.
Amazing.
So I discovered Villa Sage as I first got here. I felt in love with it. On my previous trip, I was staying at the Mandarin Oriental.
Okay.
And so I walked by and I was like, wow, this place is beautiful. One day I will do an experience there. Occasionally I've done collaboration also with Peak Wellness, with Kayani, with Sohum Wellness. But I'm still scouting around and exploring and finding the perfect spots.
Amazing. So we'll put your Insta in the description so for people to find you. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you at Villa Sage on the next time that you're here in Dubai. So when we chatted before, you had a biohacking side to you, right? So you're quite like you're out there. I generally I'm usually like the odd one out when it comes to biohacking in general. So tell me about your journey with biohacking. What do you think? What do you use? Tell me about some of the stuff that you experienced, please.
Sure, sure, sure. So I was, as I said to you, I felt like I was in biohacking before biohacking became a thing.
Exactly, yeah.
I was very lucky that I met a woman 2010 who was doing hair test, DNA test, which at that time, you know, she was probably one of the very few.
Yeah.
And again, she mentioned that I was in a sympathetic dominance, and you know, of course, she noticed that I had the Hashimoto and all of that, and she recommended me back then to do coffee enemas and to do red light therapy. And those were my very first tools that I started implementing into my daily practices. And then, of course, infrared sauna came immediately after.
Yeah.
I was very lucky, honestly. Being in Los Angeles, you were exposed to a lot of technology.
Right.
I would say that now, as of today, my top three, because I'll have to limit myself, are probably PMF mat.
Yeah.
This is something that I implement every day. It's one of those things that first thing when I wake up, when I do my meditation, and before I go to sleep, you know, using the different modality. Infrared sauna is still one of my favorites, and power plate.
Yeah.
Vibration therapy.
Yeah, you like that too?
I really love it because, you know, shaking is such a natural way to regulate your nervous system. But
it's great for the lymphatic system too.
It's very great for the lymphatic system, flush everything out. So that's what I normally use, I would say every hour, you know, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
I put my reminder to just take a walk to the other room. I have a whole healing room at home.
I see, okay, good.
That is set up for...
So you have a biohacking lab in one of your...
I pretty much do.
Nice,
It's like sound healing and biohacking combined.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I took just a few moments to shake, to vibrate. Because, you know, also when we are standing on a desk, sitting on a desk for a very long time, it activates the cortisol level, right? Because we're not moving. And so it's very important to introduce movement as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I told you, and I think when we met, I was already on my walking pad or something. I don't remember now. So I always have that on my desk. I'm never standing still. I don't like it.
Yes.
And usually, like even in this show, this is the longest that I sit. I'm usually always walking around and moving as much as possible. But I agree completely. And you know, it would be great to explore also how else we can combine sound healing with biohacking. Like imagine being on a PMF at the same time as, you know, you're doing this.
I've actually done it.
Oh, you've done it? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
so I've done a few different combinations. So we've done it at Peak Wellness, which I'm sure we're very familiar.
I know them, I know them well.
We have done a collaboration with Bone Charge, where we had guests on the red light as I was doing a hypno sound bath, and that was very, very powerful, very transformative. When I have clients coming for privates, I normally use the PMF mat as well, which is very grounding. And so it works. The combination works just great.
Yes. So why do you use the PMF mat yourself? Is it just the regular mat that you have, right? Because they make them in different shapes, and especially Bone Charge, they have smaller ones for your back, and they have some ones that are half size and all of that. So why do you use it for yourself?
So I use the higher dose version.
Okay.
And that has a lot of crystals inside.
Yes.
I love it because it has an eating pad as well.
Yes.
On top of everything.
Yeah.
But for grounding.
Yeah.
Grounding has been one of those practices that have always been a little bit challenging for me.
Yeah.
And the PMF mat really does it. And so normally when I practice, for example, in the morning, when part of my morning routine, I love to do Abhyanga. I like to do self-massage. And so I like to do it on my PMF mat. So I feel a little bit more grounding. And at night, when I do my self-hypnosis or when I just do meditation, it's the perfect way to unwind.
Yeah. So the PMF stands for Pulse Electromagnetic Field. And it helps you to regulate yourself with the magnetic field around you. And it's awesome in so many different ways. You could even have a small one under your desk where you could put your feet on. You could have grounding sheets that you could use on your bed.
Yes.
There are many different ways. And obviously, one of my favorite, because I always approach my practices as stacking. So I love to put stuff. That's why I was thinking PMF, sound healing. They work well together. Like I'd love to do, for example, when I try to ground, I'd like to be in nature.
Yes.
So directly connect to the earth through your feet, sit on the grass, that sort of thing, to kind of connect. Maybe here we don't have as much of an option to do it as we, maybe abroad, but the beach, the sand, it's a perfect grounding
Yes.
modality. So I think we could all benefit from that. And usually the feeling, I don't know about you, but for me, it's a calming feeling. It's one that helps you feel kind of, well, I guess for lack of a better word, grounded, but this is as an adjective, if you like. So you feel more centered. And it's really nice, I think. We have at Restore also the one with the crystals, 7 different crystals for the different chakras and all of that. So, and it actually combines also some light therapy with it. So very similar to the one that Bon charges. So they come now in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and thankfully they become a lot more affordable. A few years ago they were prohibitive, they were very expensive. They're becoming a lot more affordable. And I think everyone should experience it at least once and see what the difference is. So red light, what is it about red light that you like?
I just, again, I love the heat in general.
Yeah.
So just being under the light
Yeah.
it just feels good,
Yeah.
right? It's something that you cannot explain in words. It's just, you're just there. It's almost like you're being under the sun, right?
Yeah.
But because I feel like it's very recharging.
Yeah.
There is something about red lighting that gives you that natural energy, like
Yeah.
that. I don't know. It's like you breathe in and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So for me, red light is something I personally love to do in the morning.
Yeah.
After a morning walk. I know it also has a lot of benefits with your skin and collagen production
and things like that. Yeah,
all of that.
Yeah.
But mostly, like, it really feels like it's the sun recharging me.
Yeah. It's actually
Yeah.
a great description. That's what it does, I think. So it's recharging your mitochondria in a sense. And I'm glad that more and more people are discovering it and using it more. But even if you don't have access to it like you do in the morning, just having direct sunlight early morning also kind of does the same thing. And the heat is also, I think, really relaxing. The warmth, it's not really heat, it's more of warmth. It happens with the PEMF, it happens with the red light mat, it happens with red light in general. Actually, yesterday, I had an event where we had red light mats and we had yoga session on red light mats. Similar to what Peak sometimes had, we had one there too. It's people's experience whenever there's heat and light combined with movement, it's so nice, especially red light. You could do it in the morning for energy, and you could do it in the evening for relaxation. You could use it intentionally anywhere. If you use it with intention, you could kind of benefit as much as possible from all the great things that could offer you. One of my main things that I focus on, especially in the last few years, is mental health. And I know that this is something that is close to your heart too. So as a clinical hypnotherapist, I'd love your feedback on some of the challenges that you've seen people go through, the stuff that you think hypnotherapy would help with, and what is the approach? I mean, it's not magic. It's not something, and it may not work for everyone. Just help us kind of simplify it, and who would it be for to kind of approach someone like yourself for hypnotherapy, and what would they use it for?
This is a great question. So I got really drawn into hypnotherapy at the peak of my stress. I experienced burnout, as I mentioned, like multiple times, ended up at the hospital. And for me, hypnotherapy was always a way to drop into my body, which is something that I heard a lot of times, but I couldn't quite grasp what it meant, okay? And then I worked with a lot of executives, like CEOs, business owner, founders, people that have a very intense life by nature, right? And I noticed that they have problems sleeping at night. They can't turn off the brain. They have too many windows open, right?
Yeah.
Most of them have digestive issues.
Yeah.
Or in a way to cope with all this overwhelm, they drink alcohol or doom scrolling, and they don't seem to be in a place to make decision with clarity, because there's too much overwhelm. There is too much going on. The family, the business, so many things in life, right? So hypnotherapy is hypnosis. Being in a state of hypnosis is, as you said, it's not magic, it's not woo-woo. It's a natural state. It's a state of hyper-focus where your subconscious mind is open to receive like suggestions, healing ideas, okay? So for a person to change, there needs to be an emotionalized desire for change.
Okay.
So for example, if...
So you can't force someone, right?
No, exactly. Like, so for example, if I have husband and wife coming and the wife wants the husband to quit smoking, I already tell them this is not going to work.
Yeah.
But if the husband wants to quit smoking, that's another story.
It's a different story, yeah, I understand.
Exactly. So for hypnosis to work, you need to have a willingness for change.
Right.
So as long as you have that, it does wonder. I'm trained in integral hypnotherapy, which is a little bit different from more traditional hypnotherapy. Integral hypnotherapy is very empowering for clients because on my first session, I teach them self-hypnosis, which is by far the tool that I've used the most and has helped me the most regulating my own nervous system. So it's something like 5 to 6 minutes a day that you can do to drop really deep.
It's similar to meditation, correct?
It's very similar. Yeah. So it's the same brain waves. Meditation, prayer, and self-hypnosis, same brain waves. But the beauty of it is that you combine it with powerful affirmation and visualization. Why do we do affirmation? Is because you also connect with the vibrational cord. Right. And you're really thinking with the body. And then we use imagery, because imagery is the language of the subconscious mind. Right. So if you look at your mind, 95% of what happens in the world is driven by your subconscious. Right. Only 5% is conscious. And then conscious mind is your analytical thinking, right? Is how you process cause and effect, right? Yeah. And subconscious mind is your great doer, is your biggest power, right? And what is in between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind is called critical factor. Right. Which is like a gatekeeper, right? But it's what I like to call it the monkey mind or the drunk monkey, right? Because it's like that inner chatter, the constant chatter that you have, that chatter that tells you story, that you're not good enough, that you're not gonna be able to do it. So when we go into hypnosis, or again, into prayer or meditation, we lower the critical factor. Right. We kind of tell the gatekeeper to
step aside,
take a nap, step aside, right? And then subconscious mind is open, and that's where you can plant positive healing ideas, right? And then at the subconscious level of the mind, two opposite ideas cannot exist at the same time. So, right? Yep. So, and that's when you start planting positive ideas.
You eliminate the negative ones.
Exactly, and then you start doing it every day, repetition is what makes change.
Yeah, and the subconscious is responsible for a lot of the habits that we do, a lot of the addictions that we have, all of that. So, through trying to manage that from that aspect, and most of the time we're not aware of them. And we're not aware why we're doing them. Things that are not good for us, and we know we're not good for us, but it's very difficult for us to not do them. Absolutely. And I think this is where hypnosis comes into play, right?
But also, like for me, one of the things that for me was the shocker when I started getting into it is that the subconscious mind controls the autonomous nervous system. Yes. Right? So when, most of us are in a state of sympathetic dominance or flight or flight, right? So when we drop into hypnosis, we relax the critical factor, we get into that state where we can activate our parasympathetic state.
Parasympathetic, right?
Exactly, and so when we're in parasympathetic, we start sending all the blood flow back to digestion, to immunity, to reproductive system, which means we balance our hormones, cortisol level drop, and you start feeling good. So you actually place your body in a state where the body can heal itself.
Yeah, this is what we focus on in osteopathy too, to try to move the person from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic using their nervous system and their spine. So I'm so fascinated about this, and I'm really keen to know more. And I want to thank you for this. Can you, so this is just sort of driving me crazy. So the point here is that I'm able to control it with my mind, and I can ask it to go left to right, like I'm asking it right now. But what is funny is that I can ask it to stop, and then it stops. So I want to thank you for this. It's beautiful. Thank you for the pendulum. And I want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
This has been an incredible journey. I wish we have a lot more time to do this. And I'm really looking forward to spending more time and being around you and hear what you're able to do. Your energy is infectious, and your outlook for life is beautiful. So thank you again for taking the time of being here with me and sharing all of this with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. There's a lot more to explore and unpack here. There will be more, hopefully, with Letizia in the future. And we'll talk more about hypnotherapy and sound healing, and we'll show more about the power of is included in all of this. Thank you. Stay happy and healthy.